further business?
Okay, under further business, I'd like to bring up this time the building project that we had slated. You know that the contracts were canceled. We have met with the architect engineer and have decided to reevaluate the situation there. We were told last week that there is opposition to even us tearing down the current archives maintenance building. What we're looking at possibly doing is renovating that building for office space there. Now, we have some serious issues on that current building with roof leaks, structural above, on the upper floor in particular. What we're looking at feasibility wise, we'll have the engineers look at it and tell us what we can and can't do with the building, but we'd like to remove the second floor of the building. It's not handicap accessible to begin with, it's a narrow stairwell. This would then give a better view of the church as well if we were to reduce it to one story. We are looking at reducing the footprint of the proposed building. It's right now we're in the feasibility area, looking at the what we can't do, and trying to keep the project further away and from the church and the existing maintenance archives building, and going 2 or 3 stories instead. So right now we're in the preliminary stages of that project, or what we plan on, or I shouldn't say plan, what we're looking at currently as to what we can and can't do in that particular site. I'm sorry, Mr. Brewer, you already had your 3 minutes off. Okay.
So let me say something here. You know, we had canceled the bids. I wasn't here at that meeting. I was out of state actually. We canceled the contracts, and in the aftermath of that, we were waiting to see about the court case. And as we speak, there still hasn't been a judge assigned by the administrative offices of the Pennsylvania courts to handle that case. So realizing that that may take a very long time, the 3 of us said to each other, let's take a look at this situation, and it's still not too late to try to get it right, was our mentality. And to get it right meant a lot of things. And let me say this, that if anyone thinks or thought that the 3 of us had a disregard for the integrity of that church, I think that's wrong. I think in our minds we always did, and we always pursued what we were planning to do with the integrity of the church in mind. But we find ourselves trying to satisfy a lot of people, the business community, the church, the borough. I mean, there's issues with giving up parking spaces, and at the same time having a regard for county office space that we realize, and I think some of you have publicly stated that you had no opposition to us having to build, because we do. We're living in a building that's 125 years old over there at the courthouse, so we do need space. But we told our architect to go back to the drawing table, take away the parking garage idea, eliminating the $1.2 million contract to remove that mountainside and say we don't want that touched, and incorporate the existing archives building, like the chairman said, into what we were going to do there and using it for future office space. So we're in the exploratory stage, but we've all expressed that as our interest and our willingness and wanting this to proceed in that regard. And I think if there's such a thing as compromise or satisfying everyone, I think that's what our effort has been this week, to try to get it right. Jim Thorpe would actually gain parking spaces down on Susquehanna Street because we would build on the existing footprint and there would be no traffic going into that lot. The downside of it would be that we'd have to give up those parking spaces that the Susquehanna Street lot provides. Now, having said that, we still find ourselves to explore what is the best option. And we think, at least I could speak for myself, we think the best option is to build on the existing footprint. We asked the architect to decide, to take a look at options for us for 2 or 3 stories, preferably 2. I've heard a lot of discussion and comments made about the view of the church, and I watched it myself coming down today around that turn, and looked at our existing archive building that's there in the garage, and thought, well, if the building was the same height, it certainly would not detract from the beauty that that church presents to visitors coming into the town. So that's where we're at. The chairman, explained it very well, and I just wanted to share some of our mindset and some of what we were thinking about it and what we're thinking going forward. And that's pretty much where we're at, and we're gonna have our architects, they were here yesterday, revisit the entire thing and come up with a different plan that takes into account the concerns of all those people that I just mentioned.
I still have 30 seconds left.
No,
Yeah,
Mr. Drury, I'll talk to you after the meeting, okay?
Oh, you want to talk afterwards?
I'll talk to you
Oh,
after the
good,
meeting.
we'll talk.
And
Okay.
Mr.
We
Drury,
need to
I just
agree.
want to make a few comments this morning. This was a team effort, and as a commissioner, we are here to serve, we are here to represent. But one of the most important things that we are here to do is to listen, and I think we've done that. The building is going to be reduced by about 2/3. The cost will be reduced significantly. The HOP goes away, the parking issue with the borough goes away. We can now go with a steel structure instead of precast. We're looking at 2 floors, 22,000 square feet, renovating the existing maintenance and archives building. So I think, I was told by my dad, if you go to bed at night and you get a good night's sleep, you're doing well. If you don't, and you're tossing and turning, you're messing up. So I spoke with Commissioner O'Gorick, I spoke with the chairman, and we wanted to get it right. And I had some sleepless nights over the church, the integrity of the church, the windows, the foundation. Even though we took all of the necessary precautionary steps, we could have put $100 million of insurance on the building, but that doesn't say that nothing's going to happen to the windows or the foundation. So I think this is the right thing to do, and we look forward to the next step.
What I will say also regarding the parking, the bad part is the losing of those spots. But you have to remember one thing here, especially for the students. We are responsible for county government. As I explained earlier this morning, our commitment, we are elected by the county to supply the buildings, the personnel, the equipment, etc., to run county government. I feel for Jim Thorpe Tourism Promotion there that they have a major issue. Perhaps you could sit down with the borough, and we all definitely need more parking. But again, we are committed, we are required by law. I don't think to provide these services, I don't think we could legally go out and just build a parking garage for tourism, because if we do it at Jim Thorpe, they might want it in Lehighton, Lansford, and everywhere else. That's where I think people really have to separate our differences here. What our responsibilities are, what your responsibilities or the responsibility of the borough is. We just can't go out and build parking lots and parking garages for other people. We're responsible for county government, okay? With that being said, next issue, I hope.